I've heard too many people saying that Rebecca was 3 years old when she married Isaac. It's silly. It's a lie. It's an embarrassment to even insinuate that that is the case. But it's too casual. Rebecca was 3 when she was married in the Bible. And this is used as a way to shut Christians up, to say, you're being hypocritical. You're complaining that this is a practice that is happening today when it shows that it's in the Bible. But in any case, even if it was in the Bible, which it's not, that doesn't mean that it's right. It's wrong, and it will always be wrong, and it's always been wrong. But then when I come back to the situation at hand and I'm thinking, where did they get 3 from? 3? It just doesn't make any sense. It's just unbelievable. I actually had to look up the stages of a 3-year-old because I was thinking, have I missed something? Do I not know what a 3-year-old is doing? And I looked it up, and it's saying that between 18 months and 4 years, a child is being weaned. That means that they are working towards coming off milk, breastfeeding. This is what a 3-year-old is doing. They're drawing simple shapes. They're understanding, concepts of the world, like big, small, these kind of things. They're playing pretend and exploring imagination. That's what 3-year-olds are doing. And it's the same today as it was back in the days. There's no two ways about it. But then when you compare it to what Rebecca was doing when she met the servant, it's unbelievable that people actually think like this. And if you believe that Rebecca was 3, you need to wake up and open your eyes. Yeah. When Rebecca met Abraham's servant, she was carrying a water jug. She was able to have smooth conversation with the servant, who was a senior servant or had like a very high position. So this is an experienced person, and she was able to have conversation on the same level as this servant. Yeah, she watered him. She had the social awareness to think about the camels that the servant was with. There were 10 in total. She watered camels. She worked a water well. She filled up a water trough with one jar, going back and forth for 10 camels. Even this alone, it should be clear cut that Rebecca could not have possibly been 3 unless she's like some super mutant baby who's breastfeeding in the morning and then, watering cans in the afternoon, watering camels in the afternoon. It's silly. But if you want to be adamant to say, well, it's in the scriptures teach that Rebecca was 3, it really does not. And I was thinking, where do they get this from? Where are they getting this number 3 from? Let alone that Rebecca was 3 years old. So I was looking in the text, and I think that I understand where they have got it from. So let's take a look. So this is Genesis chapter 22 and 23. So where they have got 3 from is 6 verses in total. The end of chapter 22 and the first 2 verses of chapter 23. Now I want to point out something as well. This is a very critical chapter. Chapter 22. The title says it all, the sacrifice of Isaac. This is where Abraham is told to take his son and sacrifice him. And Abraham was obedient. Abraham trusted God that he was faithful and that everything was going to work out, and the promise of his seed being endless was going to be fulfilled. He had no fear. The son he loved so much, he was willing to sacrifice. And it points to Jesus and the relationship between the Father and the Son, that the Father gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him shall not perish but have everlasting life. And because we as a human race are not qualified or are not able to save ourselves, God himself provided the sacrifice. That is what this chapter is about. But that is completely ignored, which shows the insincerity in actually studying the scripture. Rather, they go straight to the last 4 verses, which actually have nothing to do with chapter 22 in the broader context. But let's just read the last 4 verses and the first 2 verses, and then we'll take it from there. It says, now after these things, i.e. the whole sacrifice account, it was told to Abraham, behold, Milcah also has borne children to your brother Nahor, Uz his firstborn, Buz his brother, Kemuel the father of Aram, Chesed, Hazo, Pildash, Jidlaph, and Bethuel. Bethuel fathered Rebekah in brackets. These 8 Milcah bore to Nahor, Abraham's brother. Moreover, his concubine, whose name was Reumah, bore Tebah, Gaham, Tahash, and Makkah. Chapter 23. Sarah lived for 127 years. These were the years of the life of Sarah. And Sarah died at Kiriath Arba, that is Hebron, in the land of Canaan. And Abraham went in to mourn for Sarah and to weep for her. So my understanding of where they're getting 3 from is they are saying that this happened at the same time that this happened, simply because this information comes directly before this information. But still, where does 3 come from? So Sarah was 90 when she gave birth to Isaac. If she died at 127, that means Isaac was 37 when she died. The scriptures are explicit in stating that Isaac was 40 years old when he married Rebekah. So we've got 3 in the mix, this number 3. So they're saying that if this happened at the same time, then that Rebekah was born at the same time as Sarah died, and if Isaac got married to Rebekah 3 years later, then by the time Rebekah was married to Isaac, she was also 3 years old. Now, if we were to say that's true, that's correct, that because this comes before this, then it means that it happened at the same time, and that's where 3 years comes into play. But if we were to say that that's true, do you know what else we have to say, that we must say? We must say that Milcah gave birth to 8 babies at the same time. We must say that. Not only that, but we also must say that Bethuel was born at the same time as Rebekah. Does that make sense to you? For that to even have happened, that means that when Bethuel was conceived in Milcah's womb, somehow at the point of conception or just shortly after, Bethuel somehow managed to meet Rebekah's mum, and they were able to conceive Rebekah at the same time. So while Bethuel was growing in Milcah's stomach, Rebekah was also growing in the stomach of her mother as well. It's stupidity and it's ridiculous and it's a lie, and it shows that a lot of people don't care about truth. Guys, it's not possible. It's not possible for Rebekah to have been born at the same time as Sarah died. Because if we're enforcing that to be the case, then we must also force that Bethuel was born at the same time, which means that when Rebekah got married to Isaac and was a toddler, so it was her father. So Bethuel was walking Rebekah down the aisle, and it was 2 toddlers walking together. It's silly. You must abandon this lie and this falsehood and accept this for what it is, which is merely giving information about genealogy and events that took place after the account of Abraham going to sacrifice Isaac. It's a lie. Now, look, I know that there's a lot of sensible people that will have reason and understand, okay, abandon this. Some people will say, well, look, that's the corruption of the Bible, it proves that it's corrupted. And you know what? May God help you. But it's a lie. Rebekah was not 3. She was grown enough to have conversation, to water camels. And in any case, if we are going to take that passage as happening at the same time as Sarah's death, then we also have to take all the rest of the nonsense with it. Please, I'm begging you, stop the lies and start seeking truth.